Introducing Zentrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zentrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200-plus signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zentrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel. Introducing Zentrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zentrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200-plus signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zentrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, the streams, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you do want to check out excuse me, if you do want to check out the signal service, AI powered signal service from Zentrix, I'll post the link in the chat to the Zentrix Telegram where you can find a pin message which will take you to the signal service on the Telegram group. So if you're interested, check out the Telegram. You find more information about Zentrix there, other updates regarding the project, other launches within the project. So if you are interested in learning more about AI and how you can utilize the tool to improve your trading, I recommend check out the Telegram. And if you're interested in the signal service, you can find that information there in the Telegram as well, pinned at the top. But guys, welcome back to another stream. What's up, Tony Gold? Hope you're doing good. Welcome. William, as always, my man, good morning. Hope you're doing good. Tommy, what's up? Hope you are doing good. As always, guys, we'll go through the USD side of things first. Take a look at the dollar, DXY, USD majors, gold and silver. Any requests, any pairs you guys are looking at, feel free to let me know. Any pairs you got your eyes on, any particular time frames you've got your eyes on, let me know as well. Most of the time I'll be on the 4-hour daily chart. But if you're a bit more intraday or slightly higher time frame, let me know so I can take a look as well. But we'll start with the DXY as always, which is looking pretty bearish, and we were getting some hints of that yesterday. My focus was a lot surrounding this level hit 98. I said on Monday, now, if price can stay above this level and hold as support, I do think we can see more upside. Not William again. My bad, Will. It's because I just see Will. My head just goes William. It's because I've grown up with a lot of Williams in my friendship group, so I'm always seeing William. But what's up, Will? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Apologies. But yeah, over to the DXY. So dollar's looking pretty bearish. We've seen a lot of momentum, especially with yesterday, but we had that close the day before, which did suggest that price is going to close. It did suggest that price is breaking underneath the level with that close on Monday, and Tuesday we got the follow through. So we're looking pretty bearish at the moment, and perhaps we are seeing another lower high, and perhaps we are going to see a push back into the low, which will be 96.5, and that would mean a lot more weakness there for the dollar. Perhaps this bearish trend still got another leg to it. And that would mean that USD pairs will see some upside off the back of that, and we are kind of seeing that across the board. So dollar to me is looking pretty bearish. It looks like we are forming a lower high. I'm not so eager to short, to be honest, the dollar. I do think market structure is pretty tired. Again, in terms of entries, there's nothing really looking brilliant for me in terms of risk reward and how I want to enter the market anyway. There might be some lower time frame pullbacks. There's a brief pause here in the market. If I drop to the hourly chart, you'll see a little bit better. So you can see the consolidation there. Nice push to the downside with quite a lot of momentum. If we could revisit that, I think that's a nice place for a short and a nice place for a continuation as well. So I still do see a lot more downside here for USD. And of course, you got the lows there to target if you're looking for that bigger swing, or even just to pull back into the prior low. If you're looking at something intraday for like a day or a session, that could be a smart move as well. But there is room to the downside for the dollar if this trend does just want to continue. And I would suggest keep an eye on that consolidation. That could be a smart area to short from, provided we see some healthy rejection. But yeah, the key confluence, that 98 level was pretty significant. We're back below that. It does look like USD can continue to fall. So taking that information into Euro USD, again, we've pretty much seen the opposite. To be fair, Euro USD never really broke through that key level. We were expecting as support. I said coming into the week, it would be nice to see Euro actually break underneath this, then start to use that as resistance. Then we can find some shorts. We did break through this counter trend line, but yeah, it didn't really provide much momentum, and that was one of my key aspects I was mentioning quite a lot last week, that we did break through the trend line, but again, trend line break isn't the most significant thing in the world. Structure, support, resistance, I do prioritize more than trend line. So if I could see a break of that, that would really give me the go ahead to start shorting Euro USD, especially when the breakout was quite corrective. We saw a very corrective down move here. It's not like price kind of plummeted to the downside or saw a big move down. You know, we were very, very corrective and coming into support there. So I was quite hesitant to short Euro. And now that we break into the upside, we've broken through another counter trend line, which has made us pretty bullish, being this trend line here. We broke through that on Monday. And yeah, we're looking very, very bullish at the moment in time. So again, similar to the DXY, looking for a pullback. You got a lovely range there. I think that could be a nice trade, like an hourly chart, maybe even a 15-minute chart. But you can see there's clear momentum in the market now. Big impulse there, another big impulse there. So the buyers are clearly in control, at least intraday anyway. You've got the prior swing higher over there at 1.182. That could be a healthy target for Euro USD, especially considering DXY is likely to push back into the lows. You know, if they do that, if DXY was to make that move, you probably expect Euro to make the same move as well. And again, if you're looking for something very conservative, at least to push back into the high. So nice pullback, retest, push into the high. Yeah, that's a nice trade within itself, especially if you're going to drop to like the 15-minute chart to trade that. But at this point in time, it looks like Euro is back with the buyers, and I would expect to see it swing back to the high at this point in time. So there could be some nice kind of trades for maybe a couple of days there or so for Euro. But yeah, looking very bullish. Strong rejection of support on the daily chart. We've broken through the counter trend line. Two very nice closes there on the daily chart, implying momentum is back with the buyers. Intraday buys look good. So yeah, in my opinion, I think buys make the most sense here with Euro USD. Pound USD, I'm kind of really backing away from the sells now. I did say coming to the week, I like the shorts from this area. Kind of looking like a head and shoulder pattern. So this would be your left shoulder. That will be your head, and that will be your right shoulder. Of course, this is your neckline, so left, head, right shoulder. So that was the plan coming into the week, but I'm being very hesitant with this plan because of seeing what's happening with the DXY, the fact that we've lost all that confluence. Again, pound USD is quite corrective, so I'm going to keep an eye to see how we do react at this area, but it's going to have to be something very, very special for me to find an entry. Otherwise, I'll stay away, because looking at quite a lot of USD pairs, it does look like the weakness of USD is creeping back into the market. So I'm not so eager to be shorting pound USD, seeing what the dollar is doing. because I'm basically betting on dollar strength when it doesn't look like strength is likely to come into the market here. So being very careful here with pound. I certainly don't want to buy it, especially where we're coming into. We had a strong rejection of the lows here. Now we're pushing back into an area of supply. There might be some lower time frame opportunities. Maybe pull back into this area. Might provide a nice intraday buy, but I will be careful about buying in this area because we did consolidate here, did see some nice bearish momentum. We are starting to approach resistance as well. Still probably got another 50, 75 pips before we get there, but not too far away. So I would be careful about buying. I think Euro looks the better buy. It looks like a clean opportunity for a push back into the highs. We broke through that counter trend line. Looks like we've got a pretty clear path back to highs pound. There's a lot of obstacles in our way. So I'll be a bit cautious of that. But intraday, I think buys make sense. Dollar CAD was super bearish, really strong move to the downside. We had a very strong Canadian dollar, of course, accompanied with some weakness on the USD, did result in a pretty big move down. We were trading yesterday, I believe around here. We broke through the counter trend line, and I said that price is, of course, rejecting the level on the daily chart, which is surprise support over there, resistance once over there, resistance twice. We broke through the counter trend line, so we were talking about shorts yesterday. I said looks like price is probably going to see us swing back into this area. Again, the best way to kind of trade it was, well, of course, in hindsight, looking for the breakout and just entering on the breakout. If you're looking for a retest, I did say on Monday, it would be nice if price was to have one more move higher, test resistance, and then get the sell. But yeah, we didn't do that. We broke to the downside on Monday, consolidated slightly there Tuesday, and then saw price continue lower. So yeah, dollar CAD looking pretty bearish. I'm not seeing much of an opportunity at the moment right now. It looks to me that price is just going to smash into support. We'll see what price does. There might be some nice buys off the back of that, but again, I'll be cautious. I'll probably look for more of a short-term play. Dollar's looking pretty weak right now. Not really seeing signs of slowing down. So yes, we're coming to a support, but it might just be a retracement for price to eventually go and break through that area. After all, the current trend with dollar CAD is pretty bearish since the turn of the year. We have been falling. So yes, it's strong support. Yes, we can bounce, but maybe the bigger move is still with the sellers, judging what the DXY is doing here. So there might be some short-term buys there, but that's about it I can see right now with dollar CAD. In terms of Aussie dollar, excuse me, Aussie dollar looking bullish. Looks like the ascending channel has still got life, still chugging away to the upside. I'm going to see what we can do at the top end of the channel there. That's still kind of where I want to look for shorting opportunities. It looks like we might actually see that happen, to be honest. At the moment, looks like price is about to smash into some resistance. There may be some shorts off that even, but I'm not so eager. I'd rather price be as stretched as possible, be at the limits of the conditions as possible, as we can see price being in this ascending structure. So if I'm going to take a short, it's going to be right at the top, right at the extremes, which is where we've got the top end of the channel. That's really where I want to position myself short, find entries, put a stop loss above, and take some short entries off the back of that. Of course, last time we were here, we actually did successfully reject this area, and price did have a pretty nice move down. We could do that again potentially, but like I said, I'd rather wait for that deeper push, take out some of these highs there, potentially early sellers getting taken out, and then hopefully I can take advantage of that. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, right now, dollar's pretty weak. We're seeing that kind of, we're seeing that shown here with strength here and with the buying pressure we're seeing at the moment. So maybe price does break through resistance there. That's really where I want to operate. So waiting to see if we can get a lot more upside there for Aussie dollar, and hopefully some shorts on the 4-hour chart not too long afterwards. Yes, we're approaching some resistance, but I do have an expectation that we'll probably break through. And also you can see the dotted line there that represents the middle of the channel. One of my kind of rules is not really trading where that dotted line is, basically, because that's where the most fluctuation is, and you're not really at an optimal place anyway. So I'd rather wait for price to be a bit more stretched, and that's kind of where I'm looking to get involved. New Zealand dollar, same situation really, respected the low of the channel here, lovely bounce. at the low. Looks like we're going to make a move back to the high. Again, we're probably only just past halfway, or even coming into halfway right now with New Zealand dollar. So I'm not really seeing much of an opportunity until we get back to these prices up here. I think there could be some more shorts, just kind of continuing the pattern. All prices have been doing for the past few weeks is just bouncing up and down. If we get there again, it's probably a 50-50 chance that we do bounce right back down again. So that looks like a nice opportunity, especially in terms of risk to reward. Could be looking at 1 to 3, 1 to 4 for that swing back into the lows. Maybe a nice 1 to 2, even just halfway. So I like the prospect in terms of the risk to reward for NZD/USD. Of course, at the moment, we had a strong rejection off the low. Looking pretty bullish. Of course, dollar weakness is coming in, which is really helping out this move. In terms of opportunities, kind of just waiting to see if we can get to the high end of the channel. Of course, it's a very similar opportunity to Aussie dollar, which we just spoke about. They're very similar pairs after all. But yeah, I wouldn't get involved now. I'd wait for prices to approach the high and then see what type of price action we can get. Provided there's some strong rejection, I quite like the shorts. I might even prefer New Zealand dollar because it looks like it might give us a bigger swing. I might prefer New Zealand dollar to Aussie, but it depends how we get there, depends how we react. So I'll make my mind up closer to when it's time to take a trade. But as of now, just waiting for us to get there really, and then some shorts. And if we do get a breakout, we'll speak more about that when the time is there. But in terms of gold's surprising me. We're starting to see more momentum with gold. We did break through some resistance. Funny enough, we are heading back into more resistance now. I'm not really looking to short gold. The plan is looking to buy it really. I was talking about some buys down here. Not too sure if price is going to come back and revisit these areas. These are the levels which I said if we can just come back to retest, I think they're very smart places, especially if you're looking for like a big swing trade to get long, put a stop loss underneath and potentially hold for the long run. Gold is starting to pick up the pace right now, but again, it's difficult finding entries, especially when we're approaching resistance. You're looking for pullbacks really. I spoke about this area here for a pullback yesterday. Brief pause, really big breakout. We've got these successive higher lows. The plan was, can we find the next one? And look for an entry in that area. Of course, price was a bit too bullish for that. I quite like this area here. Again, a brief pause in the market. I think, again, the plan with gold is to keep it short and sweet. I wouldn't look for any big move for gold. I know momentum's picking up. You can always leave positions to run. But I would still be a bit cautious with gold. We're not really out the woods yet. This is still kind of a large consolidation, if you will. So I wouldn't say we have completely broken out of this. I know momentum's picked up. But momentum picked up here as well. We ended up falling flat in our face. So I wouldn't get too excited with gold. I think if we can clear this high, then yeah, we probably are going to see that big move next for gold. And it could be a pretty big one because we have been ranging for the past couple of months here. So potentially could see, a breakout maybe to 3,600, 3,700 as well. So we could see a pretty big move here for gold. But we are approaching some resistance. You can probably see it better here on the daily chart, how price has been reacting. Now pushing back to the upper end. So although yes, there's a lot of momentum for gold and buys look good intraday, I wouldn't be so confident about a big swing trade and about a big breakout. Yes, we're expecting to happen eventually, but I wouldn't try and bank on it necessarily with a trade. If I was going to get long on gold, I'll be sure to take profits at the high. I might leave a small position to run just in case the market does potentially fly, because I wouldn't want to miss out on that, so I would leave some positions to run, but it would be a small position because I would guess that price is going to probably react to resistance in front of me. But yeah, there could be some nice buys on the pullback, 3,400 roughly. I also like this area here still. If we were to have a deep pullback, maybe form the next higher low there, that still looks like a healthy opportunity as well. But yeah, of course, we're smashing into resistance there, so I wouldn't be buying until we see a healthy pullback. And as for silver's picked up momentum as well. Didn't actually see any of those intraday opportunities I mentioned yesterday. I spoke about a retest of this level. That would be a nice buy. Price was a bit too bullish for that. It's smashed through the highs now. Not too far away from 40, just above our heads over there. Very healthy price action here from silver. This could be a nice breaking retest. It looks like it is breaking retesting at the moment. But if you've been watching my streams for a while, you know that I'm not really a big fan of the quick kind of breaking retest, the shallow breaking retest. I like it when price really does rally through a level convincingly and then has a more of a deeper retracement and a deeper retest before continuing. So that's kind of what I would wait for silver. I was looking for that exact pattern on the retest of the high here. So again, that's just a break and retest pattern there. Price rallies through the level, break through the prior high, comes back to retest it, looking for the continuation. Unfortunately, in this case, we only missed it by a pretty small margin there. Maybe in another universe, price did test the level, but unfortunately, in this case, we just missed it. And yeah, beautiful swing to the upside, back into the high, and now we're seeing some new highs. Just basically looking for that same pattern to repeat itself on the retest of this high, or maybe a pullback to retest this area demand. I wouldn't mind that. That would be a nice consolidation, breakout, retest that prior low, then a continuation. That also would be an area which I would like for a buy if we're to see that pullback happen. If not, then I'm looking at something like that. But yeah, onwards and upwards for silver. Trending very well, momentum's good. I expect higher prices. 40 the next big target. Next big target after that would be 45. And then the next big one, which would be all-time highs really for silver, would be 50. So we've got a lot of work to do with silver, but very bullish on the pair. Anyway, guys, welcome to the stream. Who haven't I said hello to? Where was I? Derek, good morning. Hope you're well. Here from Kenya. Afternoon. Nice. I think you're 2 hours ahead of the UK, I think. So yeah, probably 12:30 your end. But good afternoon. Hope you're well. Good afternoon. Hope you're well. Ivan, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Zimba, new to this. Any tips? I mean, there's so many tips you go through. I think just stay with the mindset that I think look at it in terms of like a degree, like you're going to college to gain a degree. You know, you're not here to hit a home run in your first month or even first year, really. A lot of people have beginner's luck sort of thing in the beginning of their journey and confuse that with success, and then you can go for a big spiral there. So I think the biggest advice I would suggest I'll give to you is probably look at the first year in terms of just getting up to speed, learning everything, and just creating a foundation. Don't put too much pressure on yourself in terms of making returns, because everyone does that, and that's always going to push you back and hold you back, really, because you're going to be more focused with returns and percentage returns and making profit rather than actually learning the skills to actually make that happen. And you can go in some nasty circles doing that. So I would say just keep that kind of learner's mindset first year, even first 2 years potentially, but definitely first year. Just look at it in terms of just getting up to speed, and don't put pressure on yourself in terms of making profit, because that's just going to slow you down. Replay of New York yesterday. Yeah, we did see a pretty big move down. I'll go through DXY in a little bit, some more USD pairs as well. Yusuf, good morning, man. Hope you are doing good. Welcome. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Pavinator, happy Wednesday, my man. Hope you're well. Yep, strong moving at Aussie dollar. And 0.65 sell, okay, and Japan is back in play. Yeah, hopefully this time it actually does come into play. Yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on Aussie dollar. I do like the shorts on it, but I'm going to have to keep a very close eye on the DXY and see what that does, because everything does kind of steam, everything does kind of circle back around to what the DXY is doing. And if the DXY does want to continue being bearish, then Aussie dollar will continue being bullish. So I need to keep an eye on that. But yes, I'm interested in shorting Aussie dollar at the high of the channel, which is probably around the 0.66 mark or 665. I mean, wherever the high of the channel is, yeah, 665, around there-ish. But yeah, hopefully that is still in play. Probably still got a couple days before we get that, hopefully. So keeping a close eye. Yusuf, EURG on the 15. Sure thing, we'll take a look. Campbell, good morning, my man. Hope you're good. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. All is well with me. Is possible set up 1 to 6? Yep, we'll go through that. Nowadays keeps liquidity away. I appreciate it, Campbell. Dollar CHF. Okay, we'll take a look. Lauda, what's up? Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Elijah, what's up from Kenya? Wicked. Here for you, Jay. Okay, we'll take a look at Dollar Yen as well. Yeah, it has been a while, Lauda. Good to see you back on the stream. Hope everything is well. Let us know if there's any markets you're looking at. Yeah, the squad is returning, making a comeback. Okay, so what was I going to go through first? Euro pound on the 15, I believe. Yeah, we'll go through Euro pound on the 15 for Yusuf. Then we'll take a look at dollar CHF and dollar yen. And of course, any other requests, let me know. But as for Euro USD on the 15, it looks pretty bullish to me. I do think some buys look really good here, actually. Of course, we got the break of the counter trend line yesterday, so we had this big down move. Turns out to be a bit of a correction for this up move. Price came back to retest the high there, which acted as support. We broke through the counter trend line with some healthy momentum. So there's a lot of arrows pointing to the upside here. A lot of confluence is backing the buyers right now. The break of the counter trend line, the respect of the support level, momentum picking up again. And of course, if I drop to an intraday time frame, we've got some really healthy bullish market structure. So I would suggest if you're looking for opportunities on the 15-minute chart for Euro, I'll be looking for buys here. I'm seeing very clear bullish strength in the market with these up moves. So the plan would be kind of look to follow these moves, kind of take advantage of these moves and find the next one. I like this area here. Nice consolidation. Price ripped to the upside yesterday. It will be very nice to see us come back and retest that and find some opportunities for another buy, even if it's just a push back into the swing high. Doesn't have to be the home run. Of course, I do think eventually price will make a way back to the high, but even if you capitalize on a swing, a pullback and a swing back into the most recent high, you're probably still looking at a decent risk reward on that position, even if you do enter the 15 there. So yeah, I'm pretty bullish on the 15, I must say. I'm pretty bullish on the 4 hour as well. Not really seeing an opportunity to enter on the 4 hour. I think it's much better to probably trade this on the 15 hourly chart. Makes a lot more sense there. But I do expect to see us come back and reach the highs again. So very bullish on the 15 for Euro. I think this is a pretty clean move. A lot of confluences add up here. The higher time frames, daily chart, still seeing momentums. Two very strong daily candle closures back to back. Monday, Tuesday, seeing a lot of strength. So in my eyes, Euro's doing very well. Pound, on the other hand, although we are still seeing upside, dollar looks pretty weak right now. We can take a look at that quickly. Yeah, DXY is looking pretty weak right now. We cracked back below 98, which I said price shouldn't do if we're going to look for buys. If price does break below this level, that really does just put me back to a bearish mindset, because this was very, very strong support. We respected it twice. We broke through. So basically, if I was expecting price to now reverse, I was expecting price to break above this level, use it as support and continue, especially with the fact that we broke through this trend line here as well. But nope, we did use it as support briefly, but never really saw momentum really continue from that. We broke back below on Monday, and then yesterday we saw a continuation of that momentum. So now that the dollar is back below this area, the next logical target would be a push to the low here. So DXY is looking pretty bearish on the daily. Looks like you probably see a bit more downside. So if the dollar's going to do something like that, that probably will take Euro higher, and that probably will take pound higher. So I would be quite skeptical about shorting pound USD now. I did say I quite like the shorts for pound, but after analyzing the dollar and seeing what the dollar may be doing next, and being quite hesitant about buying pound USD. I like the consolidation here. Nice push to the upside, big bullish candle from that zone. I would suggest on the 15 that pullbacks make the most sense. I quite like, move this out of the way, I quite like this area here. Nice brief pause in the market, consolidation, big push to the upside. I think this would be a nice place for a buy for pound USD. I'll be a bit more hesitant with pound because there's a bit more to deal with. Euro looks like a kind of a clear path back to the highs. Pound USD, there's a long way to go for us to get back to the highs, and a lot more structure we have to break through, and areas of resistance we have to break through as well. So I wouldn't be looking for a home run for pound. I still wouldn't be surprised if we do kind of eventually roll back over, to be honest. So I would be a bit skeptical of that, but at least for pound USD, I do think we can see at least the push back to the swing high. How far we go beyond that, we'll have to wait and see how we develop. But I quite like the pullbacks here. Really nice area where a lot of momentum came from. It would be really nice to see if price come back and retest that. Basically looking for the next higher low, kind of double bottoms over there or triple bottom over there really. Then you got the higher low here. And then you got another higher low there as well. Basically looking for the next one and then a continuation. Take out some of these weaker structural lows in the process as well. So I like the buys there for pound. I think euro is the cleaner one. So I would probably just focus on euro. Of course, they're very similar trades at the end of the day. But yeah, I would be looking at buys in the 50-minute chart. I do think we can see a lot more upside. In terms of which one did I say next? Dollar CHF, was it? Yeah, dollar CHF, then dollar yen. Joshua, what's up from Kenya? A lot of people from Kenya today. What's up? Hope everyone's doing good. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Trying to steal some pips on pound yen, selling from 198.640 to 197.415. Okay, we'll have a look at that one, Lauda. What's up, Harry? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Emmanuel, what's up? Pappy from Nigeria. Okay, welcome. Big up. Whereabouts in Nigeria are you at? Yusuf, no problem. Happy to help. Okay, let's go take a look at dollar CHF. Okay, so dollar CHF. This one is looking pretty bearish as well. So again, this is kind of similar to the DXY, except this one kind of just smashed into resistance and rejected that very well. So as we can see on the daily chart, lovely support. Price broke through, came back to retest. So very, very simple pattern here. I think this is probably the most common pattern you'll see in the market, the break and retest. But yeah, lovely pattern here, set up, retest the prior low of the bearish structure, and that looks like we're getting a continuation back to the downside. We broke through the counter trend line, I believe, on Tuesday, so yesterday, and then we had a brief consolidation below it. Of course, USD weakness really stepped in, and that helped dollar CHF fall. And at this point in time, I would expect us just to return back to the lows. So there might be some intraday opportunities on a pullback into this area to retest the consolidation. So something like that, and then a continuation. Actually, let me drop to the hourly chart. So something like that, then a continuation of that would make sense. So that would be something I would be interested in. I mean, that's kind of the only setup I see that looks worthwhile for dollar CHF in terms of the selling idea anyway, because we've already had a big move there. So you want to see a healthy pullback anyway. And then we're kind of expecting price to get there. So more downside to come likely, is pretty likely for dollar CHF. I do want to see a pullback first. We've got a healthy consolidation for us to pull back into, retest and short. And then of course, we'll probably see some new lows at that point, but I still would be quite cautious selling dollar CHF. The market has been bearish for a while. It does look like it's running out of steam. So yes, we are falling, but I think we'll probably do another big pullback at some stage. So I wouldn't be looking for anything crazy, but a push back to the low does make sense. So yeah, dollar CHF looking pretty bearish at the moment in time. A pullback into 0.796 makes sense. And I think we'll probably see some new lows pretty soon after for dollar CHF. UJ is a bit of an interesting one because you've got a weak currency with USD and you've got a weak currency with the yen. The yen's been pretty weak, maybe not so much the past day or two, But in general, yen's been pretty weak. Of course, all the yen pairs have been flying. But USD's been pretty weak, and it, of course, saw a lot of weakness. Yesterday, we did see a bearish close yesterday there for dollar yen. But I do think yen will be the weaker currency longer term. I do think dollar yen still has more upside to give for us. I still think, in general, a lot of the yen pairs have still got a lot more upside to see. I'm still very bullish on the yen pairs, dollar yen included. But I'll be a bit more careful with this one because, of course, dollar is pretty weak too. So you got two weak currencies battling out right now. Hence, probably why we are a little bit choppy. But price is pulling back into some areas of support, which I like the look of, and I think we can see some upside from. As I drop to the 4-hour chart, basically what I'm interested in is something like this: a push, a pullback, and then a continuation to the upside. This has proven to be somewhat of an area of resistance. It's probably not the best place to get involved because, to me, this is sort of the middle of the range, really. But I do like the idea of us seeing a higher low finally and a continuation to the upside. And if the yen is going to be weak, we could be seeing a higher low place and a continuation. So I would keep an eye around 146. Prior resistance here, which kind of kept us moving sideways. You had a couple kind of fake outs of that level. We did use it as support recently. Potentially we could use it as support again, find a higher low and a swing back to the high. So that's what I kind of like for the buys for dollar yen. Not my favorite setup because it is kind of just in the middle of the range. So that's where a lot of the noise will happen. And I probably going to say it's the best stop loss placement. Of course, you'd rather have it above the highs here, above the below the lows. But it is still a significant level, which could provide us some upside. It really depends how we react with this area. Do we see some wicks? Do we see some healthy rejection? If so, I think that's a logical place for a higher low and at least a push back into resistance. So that's kind of what I'm favoring for dollar yen. I personally do think the yen pairs still got a lot more upside. We'll go through the yen pairs in detail because there's quite a few of them I'm keeping a close eye on at the moment. But dollar yen is probably my least favorite just because it's a bit more of a sideways market. Other yen pairs have seen a bit more momentum. I'll go through GJ next. Lauder says she's got a position, so we'll take a look at that. I'm interested in pound yen as well. It's not quite there yet for me, but I do think there's a big move to be had with it. Richie, new here. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, a lot of newcomers today. Well, if you are new to the stream, basically, to summarize the stream, I analyze a bunch of markets. I particularly focus on FX. That's my bread and butter. But I can look at other markets, indices, commodities, metals, even stocks if you want me to take a look. But yeah, I mainly focus on FX. But yeah, if I go through a bunch of pairs, share my analysis. If I'm any trades, I'll share my trades, of course. Give you guys the kind of update, reasoning why I've got in, what I'm looking to do, how I'm looking to manage the positions. Of course, if you have any particular pairs you want me to take a look at or you want my opinion on, just drop it in the chat. We'll take a look. Of course, let me know timeframes as well. If you have a specific pattern or situation you want me to take a look at on a particular time frame, let me know. But yeah, we just chat everything trading related. So if you are new to the stream, enjoying it, be sure to hit the subscribe button. It does really help out, and drop a like if you are enjoying the stream. But welcome everyone, new and old. But let's go take a look at GJ. So in terms of pound yen, so I quite like the buys with this one longer term. I do think we'll probably break to the upside, something similar to what euro yen did with the ginormous breakout we saw there over the past few days, few weeks. Beautiful break to the upside. I think pound yen could be lagging behind euro yen to a degree, and a break out of this resistance I think is imminent. But I'm staying patient, not going to try and force anything, because after all, if I'm going to look to buy this, I need to wait for the breakout anyway. So I'm very much just sitting on my hands right now. As of yet, pound yen is kind of just consolidating in this area, so kind of just waiting to see what pound yen does have in store. There is some resistance here, which I quite like the look of, to be honest. Maybe if you do pull back into this area, I might contemplate having a stab at pound yen buys, something like this. But the better opportunity is really waiting for the price to break out of this resistance and hoping for some pullbacks afterwards and ride that back to the next key level, which would be the price swing high at 207. So just waiting patiently for pound yen to really take shape, really. Lordy said you're in some sells, assuming on the lower time frames with that opportunity. And you said you got an entry at 198,640, which would be around there. And you're targeting 197,415, which would be about there. So basically the wick low. I like the idea. I can see where you're coming from with that. There's some nice bearish structure on that hourly chart here. Push down, pull back, lower high. Lovely supply area. Big push down again. Pull back into the same area. Another strong rejection there as well. It looks like you're trying to short it back into the prior low. So I can see some sense there. I would be cautious as price does kind of come back into this area, which is around 198, 198.2, because there's a lot of support here. And effectively, I would say we're kind of just ranging between resistance and support. And I'd probably classify this as a bit of a fake out, to be honest. So as we do approach the low here, which is 198, 198.2, that could be an area which price does find support at. Maybe it breaks through, maybe it does reject. We'll find out when we get there. We're selling off pretty hard at the moment right now. But that would be an area which I would keep an eye on. I'm not saying exit the trade there. You know, respect your target. But you know, if you see some red flags there, a lot of wick rejections, it could be a smart move to maybe lock in some gains or remove risk. Because the way I see the market right now, it looks like we're kind of just flat. We've got equal lows, equal highs. And we tried to break to the downside earlier, but it just failed, provided us with a bit of a fake out. Maybe now we do see the continuation, but I'll let that level be the judge of that. So watch out for that level. But yeah, nice pullback. I like the entry coming back into supply. Really strong move to the downside. Looks like we're seeing that momentum spill over again. Let's see how big of a move we get. But yeah, for more of a swing bias, I'm looking for bias for pound yen. Whether we do pull back a little bit deeper into 196 roughly, or we do see price break out, and then I'll look for some type of retest for a long after that. I'm pretty bearish on the yen. If I quickly take a look at the yen right now, I do think the yen does need a pullback, to be honest, though. But I do think we are still likely to keep falling. So this is yen on the weekly chart. This is the yen basket. So this is the yen against other major currencies: Aussie, CAD, pound, euro. Just like the dollar basket, the DXY is USD against other currencies. This is the yen against other currencies. So when this is heading down, it means yen is pretty weak against those other major currencies. So all the yen pairs are likely to be heading up. Yen crosses are likely to be heading up. And of course, if this is heading up, then the yen pairs are heading down. So they're inversely correlated. And of course, you've been seeing us falling for quite a few weeks now. Hence why you've seen the yen pairs rally. I do think we do need a pullback. So that might help the yen pairs to the downside, but I still do think we're likely to come a little bit lower. Dropping to the daily chart, I do like this area here of prior support turn resistance. Maybe even a retest of this area here if we have a slightly deeper pullback. But any of those areas make sense. And I think look likely for a short. It just depends on the yen itself and how we do operate. But yeah, I'm pretty bearish on the yen. Maybe we do have a bit more upside in terms of a pullback, but this is kind of what I'm looking at, and a push to 6,200 on the daily stroke weekly chart. So that's kind of where I'm at. So if the yen does pull back, I'll keep an eye on that. But for pound yen, I'm still very keen on the buys. UJ and GJ on the 15. Okay, we can have a look. No problem, Lauda, happy to help. Okay, take care, my man. See you in the next one. Yusuf, we'll go through GJ and UJ on 15. I was already on GJ there. So GJ on the 15, not the biggest fan of, to be honest, because as I said previously, it's a market which is ranging to me, so I wouldn't be so keen about opportunities really on the 15. I know price did pull back into this area of supply, and we did see a very nice reaction of that. But again, I'll be skeptical about how far this bearish move does push for, because the way I see it, you got equal highs there, roughly equal lows in this area here. I know it's not pinpoint, the market has dipped below a few times, but that's roughly kind of where I'm looking at support. So in terms of the shorts here, nice reaction, but as soon as we come into this area, I would be a little bit cautious about that trade. So yeah, in terms of a solid opportunity, I would say is if we could break to the downside and find some shorts off the back of that, perhaps even a retest of the low of the range. That would be a very nice trade to me, because at that point, I've got consistent bearish structure in terms of lower lows and lower highs. And prices, of course, broken out that range. So now I know there's perhaps a trend happening and likely to continue. So that would really be something I would like the look of. I would tick a lot of my boxes because we're no longer ranging. We're seeing consistent momentum. We're seeing consistent market structure. And a pullback doesn't necessarily have to be specifically to retest that area, but some type of pullback would look healthy to me. So that's what I would favor for pound yen in the 15 if this bearish structure does continue. If not, we could find ourselves kind of just chopping back and forth in this range. And like I said yesterday, I'm not really interested, or I wouldn't really give my time to that. Again, trading is not about trying to take advantage of every move on every pair. It's just really about finding quality opportunities, one at a time, really. If you find a quality opportunity, focus on that, play that out, see that out, and then focus on the next one. Not every pair is going to give you a good opportunity every day or every week as well. So take that into consideration. But yeah, pound yen I still see as quite flat. So I don't think this is optimal. Again, I'm not saying you can't find a trade. I'm just saying it's not optimal, especially if you're focusing on trending environments and trending markets. This isn't really one. So I'll be quite patient with pound yen. But as I said, if it does end up breaking lower and we start breaking outside of this range, then sure, the pullbacks do make sense and I will be a fan of those. But until then, I would kind of just wait for more information really before jumping into anything. Dollar yen's an interesting one. We did reject the highs. We did see a lot of bearish momentum. We had a nice pullback there yesterday morning. I think that was before the stream. Nice continuation lower, and price has been looking pretty bearish since then. I think shorts still look good for UJ if we were to have suddenly another deeper pullback. I quite like this area here. If we could see an up move there, I think that could end up being a very nice place for a short. We've got the consistency of these lower highs. Again, on the 50-minute chart, you're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You're really just trying to take advantage of momentum or what the market is doing currently, which at the moment is still pretty bearish. I do think this is an area which we can bounce from. I mentioned this area in the 4-hour chart as an area which has provided a lot of support, resistance previously, which could potentially provide support. So that could be an area to buy from, but I would be very cautious about that. I'll wait for a lot of evidence before looking to get involved. In terms of the bearish structure of what I'm seeing, I'm still seeing a lot of healthy momentum. Very strong move here in the last bearish leg. That tells me that the sellers are still very much in control, and the trend is still relatively healthy. So should we see another pullback, I would expect a lower high to form and a continuation lower. So yeah, pretty bearish with UJ. I think shorts look good here. The shorts look better here than they did with GJ. GJ is still pretty flat. It looks like it could be hinting at a bearish trend, but I would still say we're within the range, so I would avoid that. UJ, on the other hand, although you could definitely argue we're in a larger range on the higher time frames, but on the 15, you're not so concerned with that because you're only looking for a small piece of the pie, not looking to hold a trade for a few days here. Potentially 1 or 2 days and you're done. Most likely one. So yeah, I do like the shorts there. I would wait for a slightly deeper pullback because of course I wouldn't want to short now It would be nice to see if price can take up the highs here too, see the deeper pullback, and then get the continuation. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with UJ on the lower time frames. Momentum looks like it's kind of picking up there, and I think shorts still make the most sense. Nakama, hope I'm saying that correctly. In terms of the time frame and the pair, it is in the middle of the screen there. So yeah, keep an eye. If you do want me to brighten that, if it's not obvious enough, if you can't see it, do let me know and I can make it a bit brighter so it's a bit more obvious. But in terms of the time frame and the pair, it's in the middle of the screen. But let me know if you do want me to brighten it. Hola, what's up? Welcome to the stream. You're new here. A lot of people new here. Welcome. Hope everyone's doing good. Yes, I can check out BTC for you. No problem. Vincent, do you take a position in pound NZD since price got to your point of interest? No, it just missed it actually. It just missed the level. I was actually keeping a close eye on that yesterday afternoon, and it looks like I might have missed the move there, but I actually just missed my level. I'll go through that shortly. Sunny Gold, yep, we'll take a look at that as well. Let me just have a look at BTC first. If I have missed the pair, let me know. I don't think I have. Yeah, if I have missed out a pair someone's requested, just let me know. But yeah, BTC, a market which did rally yesterday. I did speak about some buys off the retest of this low, but it looks like momentum hasn't really picked up. And I said yesterday, watch out for that, because I'm still pretty bullish on BTC. I'm not seeing any signs that this market is reversing just yet. So until I see those signs, of course, I'm going to be bullish. I did say this is a nice place for a buy, but we are ranging, so we have to show respect to that. Potentially price could test this level and rocket to the upside, back to highs and see some new highs off the back of that. Or we might just bounce, see a retest of the highs and come back down again. I said, be careful of that. If you do get long here, make sure you're kind of monitoring these areas in terms of if you do see some rejection, maybe book some profits. You can get out the trade completely if you want, or at least remove risk there. So if price does come back down against you, you're not letting all those floating profits turn into a losing trade. On the other hand, if price wasn't showing much rejection here, you could hold the position a little bit longer. Trail stops, maybe a push back to highs, maybe new highs as well. Of course, in hindsight, we can see price did reject the high of the range there. Now it looks like potentially price could be pushing back down again. So I think this is still a nice place for a buy, but we are just ranging here. So you got to treat it like a range. If you're going to trade a range, you're buying low to sell high pretty much, and you'd be lucky if you catch the breakout. So have the expectation that if you do catch a buy, price is probably going to find resistance and probably revert back against you. So be prepared to lock in gains there. In terms of a bigger swing trade for BTC, there's a couple areas I'm looking at below us. So of course the retest of the high here looks really nice, strong breakout. We haven't come back to revisit for a retest yet. I think that's still a sharp place for a buy. I also like this area here as well. Lovely consolidation. That's originally where the momentum really came from. So price can come back and revisit that. I think that's a smart place for a buy, and we can probably base a big swing trade from there, provided we see some healthy rejection. So I quite like those two levels there. But of course, we're nowhere near those levels, so we've got to stay patient, but we can keep them in the back of our minds for now. In terms of more immediate opportunities, I think it's just the buys here make the most sense. You're still kind of playing the trend, playing the environment here for BTC, which is still a very bullish market. So primarily you want to be focusing on buys anyway. But we are flat right now. We are ranging. So be careful with targets. Don't be too optimistic, because the chances are we do bounce, but maybe price does bounce back against you. So watch out for that. So yeah, keep an eye on 116. I think that's a nice place for a bounce. Of course, wait for price to get there. Wait for some rejection before jumping into the trade. If we do break to the downside, we've got a couple of areas there to look out for some buys as well. So hopefully that made sense on BTC. In terms of pound NZD, so I was keeping an eye on some shorts, but we just missed my level, unfortunately. I was looking for price to come back into this resistance level on the daily chart, which I had marked up like this. So you can see price has been rejecting it very well, focusing on the wicks here Really nice rejection a few weeks back, and another one over there as well, another one over there as well. And then yesterday, nice wick to the upside, just shy of the level. So yeah, literally just shy of the level. I was keeping a close eye on this one. Yesterday, I think on stream, price was actually closed here. Yeah, I think on stream we were trading up there. And then we closed bearish against. I was debating entering there, but I was like, no, I kind of want to get the entry there so I can get my stop loss above the level. I didn't really want to have a stop loss here, just because I'm at risk, and if price was to pull back and then stop me out, I probably would slap myself there, because that's just not a good place for a stop loss. I could have made it slightly bigger, but then that would skew with the risk to reward. So I was kind of hoping for us to come a little bit higher, test the area like we did on those previous occasions, get a stop loss above all the noise, because this is essentially a big range, really. So if I'm going to trade a range, I want to get my stop loss above all the action, so it's in a safe place, essentially. And then, yeah, take advantage of the push down. Yeah, unfortunately, pound NZD just missed that level. Quite a lot of near misses for my levels recently. But yeah, pound NZD is looking pretty bearish right now. I do think this one eventually will break to the downside. I'm pretty bearish on pound NZD. I'm pretty bearish on pound Aussie as well. A similar pair to this one. I think that's going to likely break lower. So I'm watching them both, because although I might have missed this opportunity, I still think there's a pretty big down move. So I'm not too concerned. The next big opportunity will be the breaking test of this level. So if price can break through that, I'll be looking for the retest for some more downside. Pound Aussie, I'll be looking at the same situation, or the same pattern really. This one as well hasn't come back to resistance yet either, so no entry for me there. But should I see a clean breaking test of this area, again, I'm interested in some shorts. Both these pairs I do expect to see a lot more downside. But yeah, pound NZD just missed that level there, unfortunately. Okay, so where was I? Gold. Okay, we'll take a look at gold on the 15 as well, no problemo. CS integrated. I went for one night trip and the XY pairs are back. Yeah. They saw you went away, CS integrated. They're like, now's our chance. Yeah, the bears are back in town. And they don't look like they're messing around right now. DXY is looking pretty weak, and a lot of the USD pairs are reacting accordingly to that. What's up? Namoya, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Pound yen, sure thing. We'll take a look. Yes, I do. I have a Telegram which I do share some of my trades there. I'll drop a link to that in the chat actually, so people can check it out if you're interested. So yeah, this is like a general Telegram. I do share some of my trades there. I share my videos, my streams, any other updates regarding the channel or trading do go into that Telegram. So that's kind of like a where to keep up to date with what I'm doing and content around the channel as well. But yeah, we'll go through gold next. Then we'll take a look at pound yen as well. Okay, take care, Will. Have a good one. Got to go for now. Okay, see you Friday. Actually, I'm not live Thursday, Friday. I'm actually away. So the next live stream after today will be on Monday. So hopefully we'll be able to see you then or sometime next week, whenever you got some spare time. But I appreciate you coming to the stream. Have a good one, my man. And hopefully see you sometime next week. And have a good weekend as well. Okay, so we'll go through gold next. It'll be nice if I could type that. There we go. Keyboard was playing up there. So yeah, gold looking very, very bullish, and potentially it could be the sign of a breakout, but I'll wait for the breakout, for the sign of the breakout, of course, because we are approaching some very, very strong resistance, which has kept gold moving sideways. You can see we've had a very strong reaction over there. excuse me, another one over there, another one over there, and now we're back at the same level. So yes, we've seen some very nice bullish momentum for gold recently, but is this a breakout, or is this price coming back to retest the same level before we do come back down? I'm not too sure. I'll be quite cautious with that. I do think there could be some nice buys as we do pull back into some of these areas to push it back up again, but that's about it. This could actually be a nice place for a short. Now, I'm not so concerned about shorting gold. The higher time frame, the trend is still very much up, so I'm pretty much with the mindset I just want to buy gold until proven otherwise. If price starts breaking to the downside and give me some reversal patterns, sure, I will of course keep an eye on shorts for gold. But this is still a very bullish climate. Still seeing higher highs and higher lows. Momentum still with the buyers. No significant support has been broken, so I kind of want to just keep focusing on buys. I've talked about a few areas about where I'm keen to find some buys from. These are the two levels, which of course price is nowhere near at the moment, so we're not too concerned with them, but just keeping it again in the back of our minds for now. Those are two levels that look nice. Something a little bit more likely to test would be this area here. Price pulling back to retest the high in a continuation. I also like this area here as well. I think that could be a nice place for a buy. But of course, at the moment, we are at resistance. So the plan is kind of back away. Let's see if the sellers are victorious here. Does price retrace from here? Or maybe do catch a breakout, because of course that will change the analysis in itself. If we do break out, then of course we'll be looking at pullbacks afterwards and some more buying opportunities. If we do get pullback, then we're looking at these areas really for some buying opportunities. As for the 15-minute chart, there might be some sells here to keep an eye on. It looks like to me price is forming some type of double top pattern here. Maybe if you can see a strong move down and find a pullback after that, that to me looks like a nice short opportunity. So you've got the first test, second test, break to the downside, break through the low here, lower high somewhere, then some shorts. That could be a nice intraday short. And maybe after that, we can speak about the buys to take it back up again from either of those two areas. But gold is smashing into some very critical resistance, so I wouldn't be bullish anymore until we do see a healthy pullback back into some of those locations. Then sure, we can speak about some buys for gold, push back into this high, new highs beyond that, and so on. So yeah, gold I'll be careful with. I do think it's a bullish market still that's kind of getting ready for a breakout, but being patient with this one, especially with us still respecting the top end of the range. If we were to see a strong close above this, then yeah, that's a different story. But from a 50-minute perspective, I think shorts could be a smart play. You can even short the high here. I would say it's more of an aggressive trade. There is some sense to it regarding where price is trading. The more conservative trade would be waiting for like a pullback along the way, because then you've kind of got the confirmed bearish momentum, and then you're looking for a pullback of that rather than trying to get in before the momentum has started. Of course, that'll probably give you a better position, a better entry, better risk reward as well, potentially. But more aggressive, higher risk of the trade failing, because momentum is still with the buyers there. So it's up to you how you want to tackle that. But yeah, I am looking for a retracement for gold and some buys around 3,400. And we'll see where that takes us. Okay, see you Monday. Will, take care, my man. Need some more trips. I can have a bullish euro and GU. We'll close all my positions if the XY breaks 97.2. Okay. Where's 97.2? Okay, that's around there. Not too far away right now. Yeah, it was an unexpected move, to be honest, because price did climb back above a pretty significant level. So that was giving me a lot of confidence that USD potentially could gain some strength over the next few days and a much bigger move. You can see very strong support there. acting as support there again. We broke through, we broke back above, so that was kind of a green light. Of course, we broke through this counter trend line as well. That was a strong green light for me for the buys. But then, of course, with Monday, we've closed back below, only just, so it's never really kind of guaranteed. Of course, nothing's guaranteed, but it wasn't like this kind of was humongous breaking through. It was just very slight. So Tuesday kind of really confirmed momentum with that bearish candle there. So it's not looking great. Of course, anything can happen. We could recover this. We could still see more upside, but I would say momentum is favoring the bears right now. And of course, taking in consideration that the market is still bearish, is still forming lower lows and lower highs, it does look like there's a good chance that that trend will probably continue for at least another leg. I still do think dollar is in need of that bigger correction. You know, us being bearish right now, still seeing more momentum, doesn't mean now I'm expecting price to absolutely fall off a cliff. Yeah, absolutely not. If we do see another strong move down, I'm actually going to be looking for another push back up again, because I still do believe the trend is still quite tired. Unless we do get a very strong move down, like some new fresh momentum comes into the market, similar to what we had over here or over here. If I start to see momentum like that, okay, yeah, we're bearish again. Momentum looks healthy. Maybe this trend does still have room to the downside to trade into. So yeah, if we do get a big move, I would be bearish again with the dollar and still looking to short the market. But if it's another slow grind to the downside, another slow move down, which takes a few days, not really seeing much momentum, it just clears the lows, then yeah, I am going to be expecting this to happen pretty much as soon as we sweep the lows there. I will be expecting a big recovery to happen pretty shortly afterwards. So this doesn't really change the fact of what the market is doing, the condition of the market. Yes, we are still bearish, but we're still very slow. We're still very tired. I do think we're still due that pullback. And that's the thing when you're looking at reversals or counter trend moves. It's very, very difficult to pinpoint exactly where that pullback or that counter trend move is going to happen. Which is why I'm always waiting for confirmations. I'm always waiting for price to shift first before I do take the buy or do take the sell. Because if I do take buys before, I have to always be prepared for the trend to still continue. Like if you do get long here, for example, expecting to see a bigger retracement or a counter trend move or a reversal, you always got to be prepared that this probably isn't the move to give the reversal, and price is probably still likely to go against you. So you got to be prepared to close out early. Maybe it is the move for the breakout, and you'll see signs along the way for that. But if you do see signs that momentum is starting to shift against you again, be prepared to close trades early, trail stops, or however you want to manage it. But yeah, we are still bearish, not necessarily seeing humongous momentum, so it hasn't convinced me that we're going to get another big drop. Like I said, if I see momentum similar to this, I will change my mind, of course. But until that, I think we'll probably just slowly work our way back into the lows here. Then maybe after that, we do see a bit of a recovery. But we'll see how as things progress. Again, one thing about trading, it's always about reacting to what the market's giving you. Just like we're reacting to the bearish momentum the market's giving us now. We had a lot of bullish momentum previously. We broke above resistance. We were reacting to that. Now we're reacting to the fact that price is breaking back below and changing that bias again. So USD to me looks like a bit more weakness is likely to come into play. And push back to 96.558 is kind of where I'm at. We'll see maybe if things do change around, but so far it's kind of my take on the dollar. Yusuf, stay. Okay, good question. Please, any tip on how to enter a trade with big zones? I mean, if you're going to enter a trade with big zones, I mean, there's two ways that makes sense. If you got a big zone, for example, let's say, price pulls back, creates a big area of supply like this, and then you get a continuation, and then price is pulling back to that area. And then you got a massive zone like this, you could either do one or two things. Either put the stop loss above the entry, which would be here, a few pips above the high, Or you can put the stop loss all the way over here. There's pros and cons to both ideas. If we start with this one, well, the pros for that is you have a relatively tight stop loss, which means that your risk reward is pretty big for a push back into the low here. So if the trade is going to be successful, you're kind of really maximizing your return on that trade because you have a very tight stop loss for it. If it does play out, you're really going to maximize. The cons of this is that you're more likely to be stopped out because when you do have supply zones and demand zones, the whole area is valid. Price might just test the low of the range and drop. Maybe price has a deep test and drops. We're not to know until everything is said and done. The whole zone is a valid area of resistance or a valid area of support. So you are slightly more at risk of price potentially stopping you out and seeing move. Actually, there's a good example actually in Euro Aussie. Actually, I'll show you now. Actually, Euro Aussie did this kind of perfectly almost. I think there's a slight wick through the zone, but it's a good example. So you can see here Euro Aussie. This is your consolidation from wick to wick. That's your zone. You can see price tested the area there. So this is your supply area, consolidation, strong push down, price pull back into the zone. Let's say if you did have a stop loss, above the high here, well, you probably would have been stopped out there. So you took an L on that trade. But of course, you were trying to maximize your entry, maximize the risk to reward by having a tight stop loss. So it's not wrong. Of course, in this example, you would have been stopped out, but I could show you another example where you wouldn't have been stopped out. So it's not necessarily the wrong decision. It's just you trying to maximize risk reward. But of course, if you had your stop loss above here, you'd still be in the trade and you'd probably be in profit now. So you wouldn't have took a loss, but actually you'd probably be making a profit on this trade. So really, it's kind of just pick your poison sort of situation. In terms of how I trade, I have my stop loss above the high there. So I would probably be stopped out in this situation. But my plan is to try and maximize the risk reward of the trade, especially when zones are pretty big. This is not the biggest zone. Some zones can be double the size potentially, and depends on the time frame you're working on as well. But I normally do have my stop loss above the high here. So I'm willing to take those few extra losses like this scenario here because I'm trying to maximize that risk reward. So instead of having the stop loss here and maybe walking away with like a 1-to-1 on the trade, I'd rather be a bit more aggressive, have my stop loss here and walk away for 1-to-2 or 1-to-3. So if I do take those extra few losses, the risk reward probably still does pay out in the long run. And also, I'm always happy to re-enter. So let's say if I did have a trade here and I did get stopped out with a stop loss there, and I'm looking to target the low there, which is a 1-to-1.78. But if I had my stop loss above here, it's probably like a 1-to-1.18. So I'm getting probably extra 0.5, 0.6 R on that position. But I would be happy to find the re-entry here with again a stop loss above the high there and take advantage of this trade. And if you do the maths really, so you lose 1 R there, but you make 2.4 R, you're probably still up 1.4 R, which is probably slightly more than if you had your stop loss there anyway. So although you did take a loss, then a win, you'd probably still walk away with a bit more risk reward. Of course, this is just specific to this example. Other examples might give you different outcomes, but I'd rather be the more aggressive entry than the more conservative. Again, like I said, there's nothing wrong with having the bigger stop loss. You would still be in the trade here and you'd be in profit right now. But of course, your risk reward is going to take a hit. And it's a pick your poison sort of situation. There's technically no right or wrong answer. There's just aggressive or conservative. Conservative, stop loss above the zone. It gives you the most room for the trade to play out. If you're really kind of focused on your win rate, you want to have your stop loss above the zone because technically the trade is still valid until this zone breaks. So if that's the case, put your stop loss above the zone, even if it's very big. It does make sense. You can always just not take the trade if it's too big, if it's unreasonable. But if you are going to take the trade and you want to give yourself the best chance of winning it, you put your stop loss above the zone. If you really want to maximize risk reward and that's your kind of priority, like myself, then you're going to put your stop loss there with the expectation that it's going to move. but you will take more losses. That's the con. So it's up to you how you want to judge that. But it's a good question because, not even just areas of supply and demand, areas of support and resistance can sometimes vary in size. Some could be very, very big, and you're like, should I put my stop loss completely above the support level, completely below the support level, completely above the resistance level? You're not to know really, because hindsight will always tell you like, oh, okay, I should have put my stop loss completely above the level rather than just below my entry candle. And then another situation happens and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have put my stop loss below the support level, could have had a bit tighter and I would still have succeeded in that trade, and I would have doubled my return on the trade. That's the thing about trading. Some scenarios you're like, I did the right thing. Some scenarios I did the wrong thing. But it's all about the consistency. It's all about the discipline and having just a consistent approach to it, really. Yeah, that's actually a good point as well, Cease Integrated. Instinct does play a role as well, because sometimes I would sacrifice a bit more pips to have a slightly bigger stop loss and put my level above or below a zone within reason. If I do feel like the trade probably does need a bit more room to breathe, that's probably to do more with instinct. It's not necessarily pre-planned for me. My pre-plan is always to put my stop loss a few pips above my entry candle. That's always my plan. Sometimes I might give myself a bit more room if I feel like I need it, but that's to do a bit more with experience and instinct, and depending on the situation. Hey, appreciate it, David. It's a way to appreciate the free value. Yeah, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. If you are enjoying the stream, find it useful, drop a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But I appreciate that, David. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. That's a good question, though, because, it's actually a pretty common scenario would happen. And then you kind of arm and ahhing in terms of, should I put the stop loss there? Should I put the stop loss there? My thinking in terms of just making things easy, just have a rule for the stop loss. So everything's kind of black and white in terms of the stop loss placement. And then you can always play around with that a little bit. But you have that kind of a plan, you have that approach that, okay, when I do put my stop loss, I know exactly where it's going to be. I can give myself a bit more room if I feel like I need a bit more room or a little bit less room. So I can play around that a little bit, but by default, I automatically know where it's going to be, rather than rocking up to the charts and not really knowing where your stop loss is going to be and making up when you go along. And then you're kind of totally relying on instinct, which is probably not the best thing, because instincts can be manipulated with emotions. Sometimes you're not too sure if it's your instinct or your emotion that's doing the thinking. But in my trading, I always put my stop loss just a few pips above the high or the low. I'm gonna go through some of the yen pairs because they're looking a little bit interesting. New Zealand CAD, Pound Aussie pairs I'm looking at as well. I'm gonna go through my watch list and share that with you guys. More trips means my trades are helping. Okay, let's take a look at... so New Zealand CAD is a pair I'm looking closely at. I was looking to short this one. I still am, but it looks like the range is still holding price. So I was looking for this to break to the downside. I still am looking for this to break to the downside, but you've got yourself a lovely range here. Price has just been back. There's quite a lot of ranges in the market. I've noticed quite a lot of ranges. You've got Pound Aussie, Pound NZD, Gold, New Zealand CAD, Pound CAD, Euro CAD to some degree, Euro CHF. A lot of pairs are ranging at the moment, which means probably some big breakouts soon as well. Although ranging market's not always fun, but normally what precedes is quite fun. So keep an eye for those breakouts. But yeah, New Zealand CAD still ranging. We just tested the low of the range. We did close below last week, so I was getting a little bit excited for a breakout. It was never really a confident close, so there's nothing I was going to look to short or anything. I don't short breakouts anyway. I'm always looking for retest, but it was a sign that potentially a breakout was going to happen. But no, we did close back above, looking a little bit awkward. We had a bit of a wick through the zone yesterday, and now momentum is coming very, very strong. CAD at the moment is pretty weak, so it looks like we're seeing a strong reaction off the back of that. And perhaps maybe another swing back to the higher end of the channel, because that's kind of what makes sense. If price is going to reject the low, well, we're probably going to push back to the high. So New Zealand CAD have been pretty bearish, and I do think prices like to break lower. So I'm still kind of waiting for something like this to happen. And short, I will keep an eye out for the shorts at the high of the range as well. So that's still something I'm going to keep a close eye on. If I don't get the breaking retest here, well, that will be the next best opportunity. Trade the width of the range, and then maybe, if I'm lucky, the breakout as well. But as of right now, it looks like we're rejecting very, very well the low of that range there. So I want to monitor New Zealand CAD. It's a pair on my watch list, but it's not doing what I want it to do. So I'm just going to have to sit back and wait for an opportunity. But it is definitely looking very, very bullish at the moment. Pound Aussie, which I mentioned briefly, is another pair on the watch list. Very, very keen on trading this one. I'm a bear on this one. I think there's a big breakout to be had to the downside. I spoke a lot about this one yesterday. But my bearish bias kind of stems from the monthly chart even. Again, I don't trade the monthly, but I do use it to keep an eye in terms of what the bigger picture is doing, especially if you're a technical trader that does rely solely on technical analysis. If you're not using higher time frames, I do think you're putting yourself at a slight disadvantage. Because my opinion, my kind of view of the higher time frames, it's like the fundamental analysis for the technical trader. Because what the higher time frames do provide you in terms of information is what the bigger plays in the market are doing, what the overall narrative is for a market, and just generally what the economic differences between two currencies or whatever market you're looking at. Because the lower time frames, the 5-minute chart, the 50-minute chart, the hourly, the 4-hour, even sometimes the daily to a degree, is very reactionary to what's happening right now. So if something happens in the news, that affects the market right now. If a news announcement happens, it affects the market right now. Fed interest rate right now, FOMC, CPI, jobless claims, whatever. It happens right now. So that will cause movement and fluctuation in the lower time frames. But you won't see that same fluctuation on like a monthly chart or like a weekly chart, because it's going to take a lot of movement for this to reverse trend. It's going to take a lot of orders being closed, new orders being opened. It'll take a lot of momentum, a lot of activity for a monthly chart to change trend. So when you are looking at the higher time frames, it's providing you the overall picture of what the market is doing. So once you know that, you kind of know the narrative of the market, then you can drop to lower time frames and look for your shorter term opportunities. But at least you're aware of what the bigger picture is, and maybe if we're approaching a big level, or it looks like things are shifting, or there's a strong trend to be aware of. And it allows you to hold trades a little bit longer as well. If you're in line with the higher time frame trend, it makes sense to be a bit more aggressive and take advantage of that. But anyway, in terms of Pound Aussie, you can see how we're kind of fading at the highs here. This actually is the COVID high from March 2020 or Feb, yeah, around then anyway. You can see we had a massive wick there a few months back in April, and price is really failing to break through that. You've got May with a bit of a doji almost, small bullish candle showing momentum slowing. June, a bearish candle there showing momentum is slowing. So it looks to me that from a monthly perspective, momentum's running out, we're failing at resistance, and perhaps a bit of a pullback is likely. So knowing that, dropping to the low time frame, I'm liking the idea of shorting this, and my expectation would be a push back into this area. A lot of resistance there, perhaps price might come back for a retest, and of course you've got the big psychological level of 2 in the same vicinity as well, which I feel like price will be attracted towards. So dropping to the lower time frames, I do anticipate price breaking to the downside. So in terms of finding opportunity, it's either price does pull back to the high of the range and I find some shorts up there, or price does break to the downside and I find some shorts on the retest. Either which way, I'm looking for a sell. So going to keep a close eye on that for pound Aussie. Of course, the breakout's not here yet. We've still got a lot of work to do. I don't think this will be a setup until at least next week because we've still got a breakout and we've got pullback to retest, get the confirmations. That'll probably take 3 or 4 days itself. It's already Wednesday today, so it's probably a setup maybe for next week. But I like the shorts a long way down. From the break of that support level to the next big psychological level, we've got about 500 pips. So if I can get myself a 100 pip stop loss somewhere, 300 pip target, doesn't even have to be all the way down there. I'm looking at a 1 to 1, so 1 to 3, sorry. So that's a decent return on a trade and something I'm interested in. And same idea really for pound NZD as well. We're looking for this to break to the downside too. They're very similar pairs. I have similar ideas on both of them. But I think pound Aussie looks a little bit cleaner, so I'll focus on that one a bit more. What's up, Ahmed? Welcome to the stream. It has been a while. Hope you're well. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. All is well with myself. DXY sideways this morning. Where's next possible target? Okay, I'll go through the DXY. Malik, what is up? Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're well. Seeing a nice buy lining up on oil. I haven't actually looked at oil in a couple of days actually, so I do need to go check that out. At the 64,500 zone. Thoughts okay. Let me take a look at the DXY, then I'll go through oil for you. So DXY, next target. Well, I'm looking at a pretty bearish market right now, and I think we're probably going to push back to lows at 96.5. So pretty bearish on this one. I do think the trend pretty much is just continuing really. I have been looking for a bit of a reversal for the DXY, still kind of am, but I'm putting that to one side right now because we are breaking back below this pretty significant level of support. As you can see, holding price really well. We broke through that initially, but then we did recover. So I was kind of hoping for a bit like a inverse head and shoulder pattern here, and then for a rally, but we didn't get that. Monday's candle was pretty bearish, closed back below the level. Then Tuesday's kind of confirming momentum to me. So now that we're well and truly below this, I do think price is now just going to probably end up back at these lows in the next few days. So I suggested on the lower time frames a pullback into this area. Looks like a nice place for a retracement, and then a continuation to the downside back to those areas. Again, doesn't have to be looking for the home run there. I would suggest even if you can find a pullback into this area and then short it back into the prior low, that's still going to be a decent trade, especially if you can get in a nice intraday entry like a 15-minute chart. But yeah, the DXY to me is quite flat today. You're definitely right there. We are quite flat right now, but momentum is with the bears. Lovely drop there on Monday. Another lovely drop there on Tuesday. So looks to me that the dollar bears are in control and dictating things. So if we can pull back into this area, you can see brief pause there. That's where we had the drop on Tuesday. I think that would be a smart place to short and just continue that momentum with targets back down at the lows. At 96.5, so that's kind of really where I'm at with the DXY. As for oil, so what's cooking up with oil? Okay, looking pretty bearish. Looks like we're coming back into support. So oil's an interesting one. I've been keeping a close eye on oil. We've been trading at very significant support, so I'm keeping a close eye to see what price does at this area. If we do break through to the downside again, then I'm expecting a push back into this low. If that's what oil's going to do. If oil does hold this level and rejects it well, then literally the sky's the limit. I do think we can see a massive rally because I'm looking at this as a very significant support on the weekly chart, and this perhaps a big fake out of it. We've been doing so well, respecting the area. We suddenly had a breakout a few weeks back. We did recover that pretty well, and now is this the retest of it? This is somewhat like a weird inverse head and shoulder pattern. Left head, right shoulder. Possibly. But we need to see price respect this area for a buy. So looking for buys around, 64.5, which is kind of where we're trading right now. Makes sense to me. because this is kind of the make or break area. So I'm looking for buys here. If I delete this, we know it's there. We don't necessarily need it anymore. I would keep an eye on this area there. So you can see where all the wicks collected. I want to see price repeat that. See some more wicks, see some more rejection, and that could be a lovely buy. I also like how price got there. It's nice and slow. It's not like we're steamrolling to the downside, seeing heavy selling pressure. It's a very slow corrective move down, which tells me there's not a lot of selling pressure there, which means it shouldn't be too much effort to see a reversal of that. Of course, we do need to see the momentum first and some rejection. So yeah, keep it on 64.5. I think that's a smart place for a buy. Stops below the area, and you position yourself very well for a big move. I'm not too sure where your targets are, Malik, for that trade. Let me know kind of what type of move you're looking for. Is it a big swing trade? Is it a trade for a day potentially? In terms of the location, I think you're positioned well for a potential swing trade if that's what you're after. Yeah, I mean, it depends what you're after. I mean, that's a healthy target. I mean, if you can get into a trade that looks like this, you could be looking at like a 1 to 4, 1 to 5, even just back to that area. Or 1 to 3 maybe. But I do think possibly we could see something like that. But yeah, you don't have to be looking for that big of a target. You can always leave positions to run just in case we do see a lot more upside. But yeah, as for oil, I do agree, 64.5 looks like a really nice level for a buy. I think that looks like a healthy place for a target. I would suggest maybe that's like an intermediate target to lock in some gains along the way, book some partials, maybe put a stop loss to break even. I would say that's the first area where things might get a little bit choppy, or maybe price might turn against you as well. But yeah, as for the location, I think it's a decent trade. And I think we can see a lot more upside and a push back into the highs up there. And if you do break through, you can always change the bias around, look for a push back into the level here. And at that point, I'll be looking at something like this. So literally whatever direction oil decides to take, I think there's a big swing trade to be had there. Okay, yeah. I was just wondering what your target would be if you do enter the trade. But yeah, understand. I appreciate it, Ahmed. Appreciate it. Glad you're enjoying the stream, finding it useful. Yeah, but I do want to let people know I'm not going to be live Thursday or Friday this week. I'll be live again Monday. So I'm away. So unfortunately, those streams Thursday and Friday, I know. Terrible news. But we'll be live again next week. I'll probably put an announcement on the Discord and the Telegram so you guys are aware. But unfortunately, I won't be live tomorrow or Friday, but I'll be back next week, Monday. And if you guys haven't checked out the Zenthrix Telegram channel for signals, make sure you go do that. I'll post the link to the Zenthrix Telegram. If you're not a part of that, make sure you go head over and check it out. It's a project we've launched recently, which is focusing a lot on AI, using AI intelligence to help improve our trading and level out the playing field between retail traders and the bigger players in the market who are very well advanced in terms of their resources. And I think AI is going to be leveling out the playing field in the next few years. So definitely kind of getting ahead of the curve, learning AI once it's still kind of relatively raw in the trading space. But there's a lot of development to come. And if you are interested in checking out the project, there's a lot to it. We're developing AI tools to help with developing trading strategies. So kind of typing in how you want your strategy to look like in basic English or in different languages actually. But in basic wording, nothing too technical. You don't have to learn to code or anything like that to develop your own indicators, your own strategies. If you want to refine a strategy, develop it further, testing strategies, how well it can perform, kind of automating back testing, developing automated bots as well, and a lot more projects we have coming under that umbrella as well, looking at kind of trading on decentralized networks as well. So do look out for that. I'll post the link to the Telegram if you do want to join the group, join the community, and find out a bit more about the project. But if you are interested in the AI signal service as well, check out the Telegram, which I'm getting the link to now. Bear with me. So check out the link in the Telegram, and if you go to the pin messages at the top, you can find the link to the AI signals there. J pound USD. Okay, we can have a look at that. I still haven't gone through the rest of the M pairs yet. I'll go do that after. Malik. Okay, looking at an hourly chart, 65.75 to break even target 69. Okay. That okay, makes it fair enough. Looking for anything too crazy. So 69 will take you back to the high here, roughly. Yeah. I think it makes sense. It makes sense, to be honest. I'll keep an eye on that level. It looks good. I like the way price is getting there. Of course, waiting for rejections would make sense. 65.75, which would be around here-ish. You're probably looking at a pretty big risk reward for that trade as well, even for just the push into 69. But yeah, I do agree. Same bias there, Malik. So hopefully we can get some entries and see a nice swing there. But CAD's pretty weak right now, and we're kind of seeing oil, oil being weak as well. So kind of need that to turn around, and probably we'll see CAD gain some strength as well if that is to happen. But yeah, same bias. I do agree. If you can hold that level, bullish. If we do break through, I'll probably lose that bias. As for pound USD, depends kind of what horizon you're on, Jay. If you're looking at the lower time frames, I think buys look good still for pound USD. I like the pound USD on the 50-minute chart. I think I'll keep it short and sweet, and I wouldn't look for any big move here for pound dollar at the moment. You can see that price has really rejected support very well here. I'll go to the 4-hour chart. You can see lovely support there. Price tested it, rejected pretty well. We've turned it, we've reversed since then. Seen some nice upside, nice pullback, a higher low, another push to the upside, creating a new high, another pullback, another higher low, so on and so forth. So if we're looking to trade pound USD, the plan would be, can we find the next pullback? Can we find the next higher low? And this would be the area I would expect it to form, or at least an area which I'd be happy to put some longs on, because we've got the bullish momentum. We're still seeing aggressive momentum, which shows to me, okay, the trend's healthy, so it's worthwhile following. And we've got this area here, which we see a very strong area of demand there, which you can see price consolidate, rally to the upside. So naturally, that would be in a healthy area to buy from, because we've seen previously, this is where a lot of momentum has come from. So if price was to get there again, perhaps we could see more momentum come from that area again. And we've got some minor levels here. This is, of course, another consolidation, which did provide some momentum, but it's not a big enough breakout, which I would get too excited and look to trade myself. It would actually be a nice confluence if price was to break through that, take out these lows. Perhaps some early buys might get involved and sucked in at these areas, and we might find a much better place to buy later on. So that's kind of an area which I think would look good. And of course, targets naturally a push back into the high. I wouldn't look for anything too crazy with pound USD, like a big swing back into the high here. There's a lot of noise above us. This for me is still like a big area of supply, which we could see some selling pressure kick in. We've still got some resistance to our left here as well, which we need to break through. It's not a hugely significant level, so I think price can probably manage to break through that, but still there's a lot of noise above us there with pound. Euro is a slightly cleaner option. because the trend is a little bit cleaner. Momentum looks a little bit stronger here. We've broken through that counter trend line, and it looks to me that there's a pretty smooth route back to highs here. So I did say early in the stream, I think if you're looking at the trend between the two, especially if you're looking at intraday opportunities, euro probably is the better pair to trade at the moment in time. You still got a lovely clean trend there, nice consolidation where retest would make sense, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do make our way back to the highs there before the end of the week. So yeah, I quite like what I'm seeing there for euro. Pound, I like it as well, but euro looks a bit cleaner. I mean, both of them are kind of backed by USD being weak at the moment, so as long as that stays true, which looks likely, I do think they both will continue higher. But yeah, looking across the board, looking at other USD markets, dollar to me looks pretty weak right now. Dollar CHF, that's heading to the downside as well. I do think we can see more downside there. Of course, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, they're looking pretty bullish. USD looks pretty weak right now. Looks like actually Aussie might be trying to break through that resistance level there. New Zealand dollar doing the exact same thing there as well. Very bullish. Looks like it's going to push back to the high. There could be some opportunities off the back of that, so I'm going to keep a close eye on that. Dollar yen is of course showing weakness. It's not anything crazy because yen is pretty weak as well, so you got kind of two weak currencies battling out there. And I actually think that yen might be the weaker one longer term, so I kind of think that dollar yen's got a bit of upside left, but this is still showing weakness there too. So USD is pretty weak across the board. Of course, we're kind of seeing effects on that on gold and silver as well. Gold is rallying at the moment. We are hitting some very strong resistance, so I wonder how much of a rally we've got left there. I wouldn't be looking to buy gold, but momentum is still with the buyers. I think if we can react and see some retracement, then maybe the buyers could look a lot better. And silver as well, a lot of momentum with this one. This is of course breaking highs, looking very healthy, so buys make sense there as well. As for the indices, we did see a reaction on the DAX. Of course, this is not really intrinsically related to the DXY, but there is some positive correlation there. The DAX kind of does follow other major indices, major US indices, like the S&P, the NAS. So when they're bullish, they're kind of all bullish most of the time. So there is a bit of a correlation there. But the DAX had a nice reaction of support, which we were talking about yesterday. So this is a nice level of support to buy from. But I did say be careful. I wouldn't be so aggressive with this trade. I kind of do worry at this area here if price will come back down. It's a nice rejection, yes, but we are putting lower highs here on the DAX here, so I'm worried about the longer term move. I do think longer term, of course, the DAX is still likely to push higher, but is there going to be a retracement before that does kick in? I'm kind of skeptical of that. We're failing at the highs, putting in lower highs in there. I wouldn't be surprised if we do go through a slightly deeper retracement. But that had a nice bounce. If you took a look at the S&P, I'm pretty sure that's looking pretty bullish as well. Yep, that's still pushing to the upside. So again, kind of the idea of USD weakness. We're seeing that across the board. S&P showing that well. DXY is quite inversely correlated to the S&P. We're seeing strength there. US 30, I think we're seeing some strength with that one. In fact, this is actually breaking out of a flag pattern, so that's actually pretty significant there. With US 30, it looks to me that price is probably going to swing back into the highs now, which is 45k. I quite like US 30 because it's the only, well, not the only indice, but one of the few major indices which haven't made all-time highs after the big sell-off we had early in the year. We haven't made all-time highs yet, so we've still got that element to go. We still are likely to take out those highs, so therefore the buyers make sense. I said there's kind of two ways to tackle this one. Either hope and wait to see if we can get a pullback into the low here, or buy the breakout. I'm not really the type of trader to buy breakouts. I'm always looking for retests, and not retesting trend lines, retesting support or resistance levels or supply and demand. So this would be the opportunity I would take, but in the in the scenario we have right now of US30, I don't think we come back here. I think the breakout is the best opportunity right now. It's just stop loss placement is a little bit up in the air. You can either have a fairly tight one below the trend line like so, or a slightly bigger one here. Again, we've been through this, pros and cons. The tighter stop loss, more likely to get stopped out, but better risk reward. The bigger stop loss, less likely to get stopped out, more likely for the trade to work out, but less return if it does play out as well. So it's up to you which one you think is best. But in terms of the opportunity for US30, I like the buys here. I like the breakout really, especially in an indice. Breakout's actually quite effective, especially in really bullish conditions, which I would argue US30 is in one. We just had a humongous rally there. This looks to me like just a flag pattern, a flag correction, and now looks like we're seeing the continuation of that. So onwards and upwards for US30. I think new all-time high is probably before the end of the week for US30. So a push past 45k makes the most sense. And of course, the NAS 100 has already made all-time highs a couple of weeks ago. Maybe even longer than that, to be honest. This one has been bullish for quite a while. It still looks like it's got some juice in the tank. I do think a retracement is on the cards pretty soon, but we are still bullish and we're still just chugging away. So don't want to jump the gun there because you don't know when that retracement is going to come in, and it might not come in for another few weeks. And you could be in a situation where you're just taking sell off the sell as price goes higher. You want to trade what's in front of you. I appreciate it, Malik. No problem, man. Happy to help, but appreciate it. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the stream. It does really help out. I do really appreciate everyone who has liked and subscribed so far. It does really help out the stream. Share it with your friends. Hit the bell as well so you don't miss out any streams or uploads, because of course you'll be notified whenever I do go live or I do upload a video. So if you want to stay in the loop of things, make sure you hit the bell as well. But I appreciate everyone who has liked and subbed. Yusuf, have a good weekend. Thank you for tagging along. Hope to, of course, see you next week. I'll be live back again from Monday as usual. So hope to see everyone there. Hakoslin, probably not saying that correctly. Apologies, but welcome. Is that gold to sell or not? Is that what you mean? I mean, it's actually a nice place to sell, to be honest. So I think it's actually a good place to short. Would I sell it? No. I'm very much just eager to buy gold. So I'm not really looking at the sells, but I have to admit it's at a very strong level. Gold is moving sideways at the moment, and that is literally the top of the range. You've got rejection there, rejection there, rejection there, and potentially rejection there again. So it makes sense for us to see another push down. So in terms of gold sells, yes, I think it's a smart place to short. I'm more keen with the buys, so I'm just going to focus on buying gold really. But yeah, gold sells do make sense at that level. It's a bit more of an aggressive trade because momentum is still with the buyers. But if you can be conservative and manage the trade kind of closely, I think it's a trade that makes sense. So as we do come back into areas like these, you can look to probably take some partials along the way, or trade a stop or something along those lines. So yeah, I do agree, a sell, but I wouldn't be looking for the home run. I'm looking for like a small move. Maybe it does turn to be a big one, but I'll be taking partials along the way. Because dollar is quite weak right now. Commodities look strong. Gold is overall still strong. I think we are still likely to break the resistance at some point. So I'll be cautious with the shorts. No problem, Casperio. Happy to help. Glad you enjoyed the stream. Thank you, Tony Gold. Hope to see you next week, my man. Thank you for tuning into another stream. Make sure you guys check out the Telegram for Zenthrix if you haven't done so already. If you are interested to check out the stream, check out the Telegram, or check out the AI signal service, which is going to be a paid service in the future, but at the moment, to celebrate the launch, it is free. So check it out if you are interested. I just dropped the link to the Telegram a few messages ago, so check it out if you are interested. But as for my focus, I mean, I will be away, so probably won't be looking at the charts too much, but I will keep an eye on Pound Aussie if I can. I think that's probably my preferred pair, but in all honesty, I don't think I'll get set up this week anyway, so I'll probably just keep an eye on how the daily candles close, Wednesday night, Thursday night, of course, Friday and the weekend, and then see what we can get next week. Yeah, as for some of the yen pairs, they've kind of looked a little bit bullish, so I'm not too sure if I'll get the trade I was after. We had a nice spike to the downside. I've been looking for buys around this area here. We did spike into that yesterday, but I was kind of looking for a deeper retracement for Aussie yen. I still think we can get it as well. I quite like this trend line here as well, so I was kind of hoping to see us kind of stab into that area. So I'll keep an eye on Aussie yen throughout the week. I think there's still a nice buy there. CAD yen in the same situation as well. I quite like the buys here. Looks like potentially you could still see some downside there for CAD yen. CAD is still quite weak at the moment, so I wouldn't put it past CAD seeing another push lower. I like this area here. We did just about tap into it, similar with Aussie yen, but I still think the buys are a little bit too early. I'm kind of waiting for a deeper retracement, a deeper correction before getting long. It would be nice to tag the trend line. It's not significant, it's not pivotal if the trend line is not tested. It would be nice if it was, but I'm kind of just looking for a slightly deeper, more prolonged correction before I jump into CAD yen as well. But the same idea, really looking for buys there and a push back into the high at 110. I mean, at least a push back into this high, but I'll see if I can trail stops. So I'll try and see if I can keep an eye on CAD yen, keep an eye on Aussie yen. I think the buys look good there. Keep an eye on Pound Aussie for the breakout. I'll keep an eye on Euro yen. I still really like the buys for this one. I wouldn't want to miss this trade. It looks like Euro yen is still looking pretty bearish to me, failing at the highs there. Kind of throwing a lot of wicks here. Momentum looks like it's slowing, so I think Euro yen is something to keep a close eye on, really. And I do think price is probably still eventually going to hit 175 up there. I like this area. It's not the most obvious area of demand, but it's definitely an area which I think would suffice. I mean, the best area would be a retest of this level, but I just don't see Euro yen pulling back that deep. I think I'm asking way too much from the market to pull back into that area. I think something like this is reasonable, even if I get the fib out. You know, I mean, this is where the 50 0.618 is, so those are the healthy areas for a pullback. This is probably like 0.382 maybe. Yeah, 236 in that area as well, so it's still a pretty shallow pullback, but given the momentum and given the scenario of Euro yen, I don't think we have the deeper pullback. So wait and see if we can get a push into this area. Looks like Euro yen's still pretty bearish, so hopefully we can see that correction. Hopefully that does translate to other yen pairs as well, and we do get that slightly deeper pullback, and I get some buys off that. So those are definitely my preferred opportunities: Euro yen, CAD yen, Aussie yen. Pound Aussie for the break and retest. New Zealand CAD, I like the shorts there as well, but we're still trading in the range there, so I'm not going to jump the gun. I'm either waiting for a retest of the high or the retest of the breakout there as well, so I'm going to wait on those two opportunities. I don't see that happening this week anyway, so I probably won't miss anything there with New Zealand CAD. Euro yen, CAD and Aussie yen may present maybe towards the end of the week, so I might see if I can keep an eye on those. If not, I think probably early next week, and same thing with Pound Aussie as well. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning into another stream. Like I said, I won't be live again Thursday and Friday, so this is the last live stream of the week, but I will be live again, ready and roaring to go on Monday. So hopefully, if you're free, you can tune in for that stream, and I'll be happy to see you all there. If you have enjoyed the content, if you have enjoyed the stream, please be sure to drop a like before you do leave. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel as well, and of course hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future, and share it with your friends so they don't miss out on these streams as well. But guys, really appreciate you tuning in. Have a great end to the week and the weekend as well, and I'll catch you all in a new week for some more streaming. So take care, guys.
Introducing Zentrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zentrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zentrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.